Started as an East Coast vibe, now I'm going worldwide. We got this bitch going crazy. I used to take the Mazda for a drive, now I'm on the 405 like it's fuck you, pay me.
Hi, my name is Heather, aka Stoney Baloney, and this is the Stoney Baloney podcast. If you're expecting anything from this podcast, don't. But if there's one thing you will learn about me, is you never know what Stoney you're gonna get. This is the journey of one spicy, sarcastic entrepreneur who came out of her cannabis closet and has been blazing through life ever since. As a multi-passionate person who has lived from one coast to another, I know there is more to life than just a 9-to-5 grind. I hope to inspire others to try new things no matter how old you are, start doing things you love and turn them into your side hustles, and to simply stop giving a fuck how others want you to live your life. Dun, 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 dun. Live from Rockvox Studio in Rochester, New York, breaking news. We have the sad update that the pineapple bong has died. Last weekend on a Sunday or Saturday, someone turned around and it broke off of
You did it.
Cabinet. It was my fault. I was not paying attention. I do not have a pineapple bong at this time. My guest today is Emonie. She is a coworker of mine, and she works at Shade by a Tray with me doing spray tans.
The very first and the not only employee, I guess. I don't know how to feel about that.
I don't know where this voice came from, but I can't get rid of it. Emonie and I taste tested these only blunts from a shop in Brockport. These are wraps. I will tell you, I cannot smoke joints or blunts without dying. Like, my throat just dies. I prefer flour with a bowl or something, or maybe an edible that's not too wild, but these things smoke really good and they're smooth. They don't hurt my throat at all, and I would have to say we're solidly both ripped.
Indeed. I have to say, you don't taste that it's a blunt. Like, it simply you just taste weed. It's like you're smoking out of a clean pipe.
It's beautiful. With that being said, I have no direction of this podcast today. I will like to go over some things that we are going to do in the future. Like, it is fall time and it's Western New York. If you don't like fall and spooky things, Genesee Country Museum, I do a ghost tour at my studio located in Churchville. We do a haunted little history thing. We walk around town. Sometimes I'll do wine, sometimes snacks. It just depends on what you want to book, but they're pretty fun. I end up laughing half the time. It's pretty great. But there's really no direction today. I figure we'll follow up on what we did this summer and then what we could look forward to in the Stoney Baloney podcast. So I think we should talk about things that piss us off. And I'm going to give you an example of something that pisses me off.
All right, shoot.
People that buy lottery tickets and hold up a line at a gas station.
But why? Because my grandma's exactly like that, and it's mostly the little old ladies, and that's okay. You should let them live their life and hold up the gas station line because they don't have much time.
Okay, so you don't know that.
How do you know?
I just saw, well, how do you know?
How do I know what?
That she's not going to have that much time.
Well, I mean, you don't know. That's what I'm saying. Why would you be upset with them that they're spending a long time at the gas station line and holding it up to buy 25 lottery tickets, but you don't got 5 minutes to wait?
I guess I'll look at it differently.
Fair.
Why don't you go?
I think that people who call my phone one time and then they hang up, and then 2 seconds later, they call back. There's a good example.
Emonie and I work together, as I said, and we both take a lot of phone calls a day.
Too many.
And I think people that don't answer phones don't understand the stress phone calls make. But also, in what we do, we never turn off. It's like we wake up, we work throughout the whole day, no matter what we're doing. And then even when we're done, it's like we have to recap
Pretty accurate.
with everybody and be like, okay, this is what happened. Like,
And then we'll still get a phone call.
yes.
Still get a phone call.
So it doesn't stop, and it's important. Like, I just went on vacation last week, and the first couple days I was bad. Like, I was definitely working the whole time, but then I think it got to a point where I was like, okay, I need to turn it off.
But I think it's different for people who are passionate and people who are motivated and people who do have that driven personality to get things done, because I feel like that's pretty accurate to the people that we are, and that's fine. But we do have to learn how to turn it off.
I think we're bad at never turning it off. And then we all get to a point where it's like, fuck this. I'm out of here. Me. I'm people.
And that's probably not just pertaining to like work life. That's probably pertaining to like relationships and other things that exist in your life, because man, you take a breath and you're like, all right.
I feel like I've kind of been at a standstill, like I'm waiting to do something new. And
I agree.
the other day after my pineapple pinacle, I was like, I should sell pineapple bongs. Why am I
Beautiful.
not selling pineapple bongs? They have cute colors, but also there's lots of small businesses and people that blow glass that I can get custom pineapple bongs.
For sure.
And I was just talking about it with somebody, and they mentioned, you know, maybe you shouldn't be telling people that yet until it gets going. And I said, well, no, because I feel that is when things get forgotten or put on the back burner. I love the pineapple thing. Like, the pineapple thing is gold.
Shout out to the OGP.
The OGP. I might have to get rest in peace pineapple on my arm. I already, since the last time I've been on here, I do have a pineapple tattoo. It's not the exact Stoney Baloney pineapple, but
It's a pineapple. It counts.
it's the pineapple and my peach. Shade vibes. But I feel like I do need Stoney Baloney. So I don't think Stoney's going anywhere anytime soon unless someone sues me for a trademark or something. I see a lot of Stoney Balonies popping up, and it's funny, and I don't know if it's because the hashtags and the algorithm.
Algorithm? That's bitch. Wait, am I allowed to curse?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if maybe now Stoney Balonies are popping up, but I feel,
I mean,
listen, if it went down and we had to go to court or something,
you wouldn't win.
well, my last name is Balonic.
Oh, okay. So you think
You take away the K, I can always say, people always called me Baloney growing up.
glowing up?
Yeah.
I like that term.
People always called me Baloney, so I could say that's my nickname. It's always been my nickname. Her name is Kate Dollinger. What the fuck does Baloney have to do with her? Because it rhymes with Stoney. I have the legal last name of Balonic, which might mean balloon in Polish. I don't know if it is, but it's possible that my last name had like a ski or something at the end of it, and it was shortened when my peoples came over. I'm 70% Polish.
I wouldn't have known.
I do think I was Puerto Rican in another life. I think
I'm Puerto Rican.
she is. But do you agree?
I have to say that out of all Hispanics, Stoney Baloney resembles, or I don't even think that's the word I'm looking for, resonates.
Coordinates?
Best. Nope. Resonates best with the Porter chickens.
So speaking of nicknames for things, I'm glad I have my phone right here because Linda, episode 1, Linda,
Shout out to Linda.
she was talking the other day about knuckle draggers. And that's a lingo in California for like the skiing and snowboarders.
Okay.
I don't think we call anybody something like that around here.
We don't.
No. But I'm totally gonna skip. So this has nothing to do with what we were talking about.
Great. Keep going.
Do you ever have an unhealthy obsession? Let me give an example.
Okay. I've got a lot of them.
I feel if I'm scrolling on TikTok videos or something at night, which is scary that I've kind of transformed more into watching TikToks before bed versus a television. And it's just weird because I grew up like TV, MTV, VH1 Classic. Like, it's weird to think about how the times have changed.
And what you've adapted to, I mean.
I'm definitely a tiki-taki. I'm a tiki-takier.
Tiki-takier?
And it's weird because I feel like a lot of times because Kenny doesn't smoke as much as I do. He's a silent puffer, I feel like. He's always getting his pens from you.
That's true.
He likes those pens. He's always got at the pens, and I think they secretly fuck him up.
I think that he loves them.
But one thing I always watch videos of is September 11th. Like, I'm fucking obsessed. And I don't know why, but I also have a fear of flying. I hate flying. I've had panic attacks where I thought I was going to get kicked off the plane because I was starting to get very upset.
Do you think that might have anything to do with your past life?
Yes, because I resonated with Vietnam early on.
Interesting.
Like, I want to say 5 years old, I had dreams of Vietnam, which was weird. And I don't know, maybe it even wasn't Vietnam, but I feel like from what I can picture, like I could vividly picture like a jungle in a certain area. And it's the same picture that pops up every so often or something will remind me of it. And I feel like that's a memory from something. And there's this book called Sesh Speaks. I always talk about this book, but they talk about how things like feelings we have and whatever come from our past lives. So I think I might have died in a helicopter crash in the Vietnam War.
That's weird.
But then I also am
Well,
like...
Not weird. It's cool that you can, like, I guess, find that and feel that and understand that there is that exists. And I don't know. It's weird. I wish I could touch base with my past life.
Well, maybe you just need to pay more attention.
Maybe.
But I don't also know if maybe I just have anxiety and I'm a tweak and I get ripped, and I have anxiety when I don't smoke. It's like when I smoke, I give myself a different kind of anxiety, but it's almost like a game. Like, okay, let's see how we can get, how high we can get and fucking
like,
go in here.
You mean just 30 minutes ago?
Yes. Rip biscuit. And Chunk's Choice also had the cutest only blunt stickers.
Oh, you should have brought one. They're cute.
I know. I'm picturing it in my window. I'm going to post it. I'm going to post a picture of it.
Okay, cool.
I actually think I did a tiki-taki, and that sticker's in there. But, so, is there something weird like that you watch? Like, I feel that's morbid to watch that all the time.
Well, what do you mean, TikTok?
No, like
Tiki-taki?
September 11th stuff.
9/11? Like, you mean you fall into rabbit holes about 9/11?
Like, if I see one video of 9/11, I have to keep going. Like, I keep watching.
That's called a rabbit hole. And no, I don't think it's, like, weird or out of the ordinary. I do that. I do it, too. It's ridiculous. I will find, like... But mine is mostly, like, on, like, true crime and stuff like that. Like, I really do find a liking to falling into those rabbit holes. But then you're, like, 3 o'clock in the morning and you're like, shit, I gotta go to bed.
I think September 11th was really when a huge wall hit and the world was different. And that's something that I vividly remember, and you weren't even born yet.
Actually, I was. I was only 1.
I thought you were fucking born that other year.
I was born in 2001.
January. Oh, God. I was thinking that was after September.
Nope.
So, like, I'm not good with numbers, and we do permits at work. And if you do permits, you just know.
Shout out to Markella.
Markella is, like, my BFF. We worked together at where we are now. And we've hung out, like, twice outside of work. And one of those times was for her wedding.
She's got wild asparagus in her yard in Michigan.
Did she tell us that?
She told me that.
She always texts when there's a crisis. And then I forget to text or look back. But sometimes I'll do like a skim because I'll be like, oh, Markella and Emonie were talking and I fucking didn't pay attention.
We'll be like 40 messages deep and Heather will just like throw in some random thing about work. And it's just like, Heather, we're here for you.
Well, so speaking of Markella, she is all about conspiracies.
Oh, love it.
And she told me the other day something. And I was like, Markella, I need to see. Like, I'm still waiting on that link. Markella, I'm still waiting on that link. But when I first started writing in my 20s at some time. I'm 35. 35. I started writing a book, and it was chapter 1. Chapter 1 basically explained Vietnam and why I feel that I had Vietnam in a past life. But then I had chapter 2, which I think was space is bullshit. And I feel the basis of this book was basically things that I think of when I get ripped.
Wait a second. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you. You said space is bullshit as in what? Like, don't you have a grandfather that like takes pictures of the moon and stuff?
He takes pictures?
Mm-hmm.
I don't recall if Grandpa Bob has ever sent me a picture of the moon.
Well, okay.
I'm sure he has, but...
Well, anyways, reverse. Rewind. Keep going.
So the whole, I think, thing was, who's to say? That's pretty much how it was like, well, who's to say this can't happen or this isn't true? I have never seen space with my own eyes, so who's to say? But you look out in the sky and it's a blue sky, beautiful day, no clouds. The sun's shining just right so that you can just see clear. Your eyes aren't hurting from looking at the sky. And then lights out, dark, no moon in the sky. You're in the country and you see all the shit going on up there.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that. And fuck that we don't even pay attention to that shit. You lay down and you watch all that stuff. Like, it makes me want to throw up. I saw a UFO. I don't even want to put that out there.
I've seen a couple very weird things too. So
We were getting weed from someone, I think. First time I ever met this girl, and it's weird because it was my friend, my homie Dre's friend from work. And it was her boyfriend, and it was me and Dre, and we're at her apartment complex, and I think we smoked a blunt or something, but it felt like I had been friends with her for a long time. We just had a good chemistry, like, I was giggling like a kid when I was with her. I might be making that up. I don't know. It just sounded good.
it just sounded good.
I feel like that was a thing. So if it wasn't and you're listening, I'm so sorry. But we had just met and it just felt like we were close. And then we're all outside and there was this light and it gives me the creeps. It made my knees buckle. It made my stomach clench. That was not human. That was not normal. It was in our atmosphere, but traveling at speeds like very fast back and forth. And we all saw it. And it was like, we all smoked, but how are we all seeing and having the same reaction? Like,
weird.
Wow, like that's fucked up.
Yeah, that's very weird.
So when I started working at Panera, the background on the computer, Panera is very corporate. So you don't really see homemade screensavers at Panera. There was like a UFO one, and I was like, that's weird. Mm-hmm. Like all these UFO things started kind of like lining up at the same time. And then there was a UFO sighting in Syracuse or something, and I was like, that's fucked up. Then I had a dream that there was these aliens in the backyard, and I was a lot of times, sleep
paralysis?
Paralysis.
Say
paralysis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There you go.
Laying awake. It happened to me last week at the cottage, just laying there and like unable to move for like an hour. It feels like an hour, but you know everything that's going on.
But you cannot move.
It was kind of like that. And even though I was laying in my bedroom and I could still picture it, it was like I could see the aliens in the front yard looking up at my window, kind of like glowing. And I was like, I don't want to watch alien shows.
Creep.
I just looked at an alien show and tried to get into it, and I couldn't the other day. I think that freaks me out the most. And then they start talking about in these court hearings recently and stuff, how they found or how these teleporting and shit like that. It's like, that's what scares me.
I feel like mainstream media is like meant to do that to you though. And if you don't like have common sense and like have your own sense of thinking, you just fall for it.
It's pretty terrifying, but that kind of brings me to something else. And I'm so excited for our ghost episodes. I'm going to do a 2-parter. So I'm going to have some multiple guests on that episode. There may be someone I want to reach out to. However, I think something people don't think about is like, oh, I have an opportunity to have someone who's kind of semi-famous in the area come onto the podcast, but you don't know these people. Right. You know what they're famous for, but you don't know who they are as people. And I guess that's the idea, is to have people on and learn about them. But at the same time, like, what if this is a solid, like, person is a piece of shit? Well,
what?
Well, okay.
That's a way to that's a way to look at things, and I love that. I love that point of view.
For example, I think especially with famous people marry in just because they want your money.
Absolutely.
They want what you have when you're gone. And I think people that do that, I mean, I can't judge, but at the same time, it's like, I feel that's fucked up. Like, I wouldn't do that shit. I would rather make a point and like, fuck you, I'll do this shit on my own.
But then that, like, is again, full circle right back to what I said. Like, that's what you get when you are like driven and self-motivated and you like want to get shit done.
For sure. Well, today, as we said about the bong thing, like being careful and not putting that out there, if you don't put that hype out there, like, I know it's not set in stone, but I'm making moves. I'm making sure, like, okay, if I'm going to be selling bong pieces, I need to make sure my ducks are in a row so
sure.
I can't get in trouble. Can I even do that in my town? Or do I know someone at a different studio, maybe in the Rochester? And that's something, you're a business, you're an entrepreneur, you take pictures.
For sure.
And I think it's important to have people like you on that are just starting out, because a lot of people are just starting out. And they only talk to the people who've been through it for years and stuff. And it's like, well, I want to know now, what do I do? And that's just it. It's just doing it. Just start fucking doing it. Worry about licensing and all that shit after, like, that you do as you go along. But
and I think like the biggest thing, and I feel like I've kind of already got my like feet wet with photography. It's like some people don't know where to start with the legality, but it's really not. Is that a word? Legality, you get it. Like, you don't know where to start, but it's as simple as like looking things up, and it's not that difficult. And most of the time, it's just paying a little bit of money.
And let's be honest, every person in the world, even the people sitting in Congress and whatever else, they know that when they first started, they didn't do everything by the books, because it is a learning experience. Some people get away with doing it longer than others do. Like, to each their own, like, whatever you have to do to get to where you are.
Sure.
But I also feel that people get discouraged and they say, who cares if I sell 5 pineapple bongs? At one point in my life, I sold 5 fucking pineapple bongs because I fucking wanted to. Because I liked that blue one, I liked the purple one, and I liked the fucking yellow one.
I think that we're all going to get a pineapple bong.
Everyone's going to buy a fucking pineapple bong. And then I'm going to be like this.
So are you going to be accepting pre-orders soon?
Yeah, so if you want a pineapple bong, definitely DM me. And I'm trying to figure out if I should have a Stoney Baloney website or if I should have a tab on my shade page. And that's something people need to know when they're first starting out with a business too. I don't know how many spray tan artists I trained doing my cannabis trainings, and they didn't have a website. And, they said, well, people told me that didn't matter. That website is everything, especially when you're starting out and you're by yourself. That is where people need to go for their information. It's not hard to plug shit in. Wix is super easy. It's not the top platform and whatever, but you don't need that shit. And there's also people out there that you can pay super cheap to host your website for you and make sure your SEO is working for under $35 a month. That's huge. But you have to have that website, and you don't necessarily have to have a location, but you have to get on Google Maps and, have an official Google page. And then you get to utilize all those things for free. You post on it as you would Facebook, and you do a post every day. And when you start doing that on Google's page, it boosts you. I would get so many calls for shade, and I've been terrible because I've been focusing more on the other place that I'm at full time. And I really need to figure out that balance. But I think it's important for people to know, too, that it's okay if you own a business and you are working somewhere else. Even if it's working more, I'm working towards filling somebody in my store for me full time so I can go out and do these other things. I'm going to start doing spray tan trainings. So if you want to learn how to spray tan, just let me know.
I'm taught.
She is taught.
But I'm not yet certified in whatever she prefers me to be. Therefore, I am getting going with that.
So by the end of October, you will be. And in my experience in spray tanning, and this goes for everything, when I first started, I was young, and I think that had a lot to do with everything. Like, I wish I could tell myself back then, it's just a naked body. Who the fuck cares? We all have the shit. I'm not saying I want to say everyone's shit. I'm not saying people want to see my shit. I know I dress halved, but I don't fucking like clothes. And I like to be comfortable, and like, I'm comfortable in crop tops and baggy pants. That's my fucking shit. I don't care how big I am or bad I look or great I look. I'm comfortable.
It's just your comfort.
This is me. And I picked up your sister one day at school, not me, and I couldn't believe what everyone was wearing. And that just did not fly when I was in school. We couldn't wear hats. I was a little shit in high school. I would get in good trouble.
Agreed.
Good trouble. Like,
for example,
well, I think because they were on school grounds, maybe I shouldn't say it.
Anywho.
Yes. Random memory is my last day of school, I ran out of gas. Like, almost in front of the school. Thanks.
Like your last day of
High school. Like, my last day of high school ever.
wow.
Um,
Went out with a bang.
So I forgot what I was talking about, but that's okay because that's the first time it happened this whole fucking episode. So everyone can eat it. I'm doing really good considering what we just smoked. But part of those ghost episodes, I want to talk about deja vu moments and how I'm a psychic / medium in training. I have clairvoyant whatevers.
Clairvoyant.
I have a lot of ESP, but I think this happens to a lot of people, and this is one of those things that you have more of it than you think. You just don't pay attention to it. For example, I was talking to Linda the other day. We were at the cottage. There was a lot of spiders, and we've been finding spiders. You found a spider in your shoe from the cottage. Mm-hmm. It was in my car. But I've been finding a lot of spiders lately, and so is she. And I had told her a week before or something about when I lived in California. Or maybe I told her after. Doesn't fucking matter. I told her at some point.
She knows.
She knows. She was told. That when I was in San Diego, I was turning in a really busy intersection off of Carmel Mountain Road, and a spider, a brown recluse or whatever, huge. Like, there were many times where I was like, fuck this, I'm moving back to New York. I'm not doing this. These things come into my house, my apartment. But this thing just went down, and I went through the intersection. I popped out of the car. It's like, I'm not going in there. I've had to have security in the apartment come get spiders for me because I couldn't get in my house. But my mom's in California, and she sent me pictures of that intersection yesterday.
Weird.
3 times in a very small period of time. Last episode, I was talking to Scott about how I feel like the power grids are going to get, like, blow out, or we're going to lose electricity for a crazy amount of time or something, and everything's going to kind of, like, reset. Like, I feel like we're going to go back to the 90s. And Scott said he was just thinking about that, and I was like, see?
That's weird.
But that happens all the time for me, and I think that is me trying to figure out how to use that tool more. Like, there's got to be a time in between me figuring it out and feeling it and noticing that sequence that I can do it sooner to be able to understand it better and then use it as a tool to possibly communicate with the other side if it exists. I believe it exists.
I agree. I also believe that it exists.
Kenny's mom passed away, and we were definitely not trying to get pregnant. And I said, like, someone in the family is about to get pregnant. Like, I feel your mom is, you know, going to carry on. And then the Seth Speak books, they talk about that, like making people in your family making a little bit of someone, and that's who you are. But those people created that in you, and you are this part of this person because they wanted you to have that, which is fucked up if you think about that in like a serial killer kind of way.
Well, yeah.
So what crime shows do you watch?
Well, I pretty much just watch like NCSI, CSI, those kind of things.
I used to like CSI in the 90s. But when I was pregnant.
Special Victims Unit?
Oh my God. When I was in labor, I was watching Blue Bloods and Special Victims Unit.
SVU.
You know how I said we're going to revert back to the 90s, though?
Uh-huh.
Chapter 3 in my book was We Are All Monkeys.
Oh, wait. Weird. Why?
Like I said, I think shit's going to happen. Think if we lost power for a long period of time. People don't know how to do this. They don't know what to do. And it's sad. Like, I grew up in a time we were outside all day.
Well, it's weird because I feel like I grew up in a time that was kind of like transitioning a little bit. Like, I don't know, like I spent a lot of time outside as well growing up, but like I did hit a certain point where I was like inside watching TV or always on the video game or always with my phone in my hand.
Yeah.
So I think that it's weird that I was able to kind of live between both, I guess, kind of weird world changes, I guess. I don't know.
So I act like I was growing up in the 80s because I do think I had an 80s time and I was a man that kind of resembled Freddie Mercury, but I lived in New York City. I saw him in a yoga session when I was doing like a past life regression. Those get super creepy. Like, they bug me out, and sometimes I'll get really deep, and I just pull out, and I'm like, I can't do this, and it's a long time before I do it again. Sorry. Fighting the sinuses. There's a point of time from September to May where my sinuses and my son's are just back to back to back to back to back.
I think that's anybody with allergies.
I don't know if my body changed just coincidentally when I had Harry or if it was because of having a baby, but it's been brutal the past few years. But he's getting his tonsils out in a couple weeks, and that's scary to me. I've been asking a lot of questions. I was asking questions at the doctor's yesterday, and they were kind of giving me that look like,
shut up. Yep. Do you still have your tonsils?
Yes.
So I also still have my tonsils, but like, I don't know. I feel like if it's recommended to help with whatever circumstances that he's going through right now, then you definitely should go through it. But I definitely understand from a parent's perspective. I'm the oldest of 8 siblings. Either way, it's a surgery. So
we definitely I get a lot of sore throats, and I've always gotten a lot of sore throats. So I wonder if that would have helped me.
It may have.
But maybe I didn't even say anything. I feel like the 90s were different, though, because if we were sick, take your Dayquil to school, like you're going to school. Now, you can't even have, like, a runny nose without, like, people having to be in like jackets and stuff and wrapped in all these masks and whatever. And I'm a germaphobe. I am 100% a germaphobe, but I was not crazy when it came to COVID. I had COVID a few times. My taste is still fucked up. So, of course, there's a part of me that's like, well, maybe if you did get this or didn't do this, then you wouldn't have lost your taste. Maybe. But I think that's a lesson that I was supposed to learn in this life. So my taste buds are fucked up because I deserved it. Like that.
Okay. All right.
That was a lesson that I needed to learn. I started doing private chef events right before I got COVID. Then I lost, and I loved it. And I'm about to get my DBA. That's a second announcement of a new business venture. I'm getting my DBA hopefully next week to start doing private chef stuff. I love it. It's a great side hustle. Food is my passion. That has always been my thing.
She won't let anyone else put their fingers in her food, but she will surely put her hands all in somebody else's and hand it to them with a smile.
Okay, but only if it hasn't been touched. And I think my
Okay.
I feel like my mom and dad are this way. Maybe more so my mom, I don't know. But when you go to a party and people are just sticking their fucking hands like everywhere, like, you know,
I don't know where you were recently, but I remember a conversation and you were like, you were hiding in the corner talking. You must have been. You're like, I'm at this fucking party and everybody's just sticking their fingers in all the dip and they're just sharing it, and I'm just like cringed.
Yes, I've had a lot of group activities, and I'd have to say I did pretty well the whole time. I was pretty good. Well, no, I lied. I definitely lied. I definitely had moments. At one point I was in the shower. No, don't talk details, okay? I'm not going
I'm not talking details.
Shut the fuck up. But I'm in the shower.
No way.
And I just my edible starts kicking in. And I had a migraine for 2 days. So it was like second day we were there. But my fucking head was just killing me. And it was like overcast skies. And it's like, man, I'm just trying to like relax and have like a good day. So I took a gummy and I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to feel like shit. I'm going to be ripped doing it. So I'm in the shower and I'm just thinking like, oh, other people use this shower. People I don't normally share showers with, I'm going to share showers with. Like, it's weird.
It's definitely weird.
So then I did have some like tweak out moments. I was not really sharing M&Ms and stuff at that point.
It's funny because I see the M&Ms.
Our friend Alyssa, who we work with.
Alyssa!
I have a respect for her because I feel some people give me shit. Like, they don't take me seriously. But no, like, I'm creved out. Please do not drink out of my drink. And people do it all the time. And I think it's weird that people assume that it's okay to just take a sip from someone's drink.
Wait, what does that have to correlate with Alyssa?
So the Halloween party, we were taking the leftover pizza from the different boxes and putting it in one box. And I was like, we didn't have anything to pick it up with, but I didn't want to touch it. And she said something to me like, I know how you are, but nobody else gives a fuck. So just put it in there. And I'm like, in that day...
That's Alyssa through and through.
She also makes sure that I get in there first.
Yep, she sure does.
Cruz, your dad, he made sure for when he made lunch that one time. Called me to come up to get mine first. Like, that's like a true
It's
respect.
like people judge you, but they still respect it.
Like, if my plate is full, I'm feeling good. If I have just like a side of mac salad, I'm crebbed out at the moment. But it's nobody's fault. It's me. It is me. But yeah, it was weird in COVID. It wasn't really like that. But there's people
Who really just don't care.
There's people that don't care, but there's also that kind of leads to a whole nother realm of conspiracy theories. But going back to chapter 3, because I don't think I've really finished what chapter 3 was.
We are all monkeys.
We are all monkeys. There was a point in time where I was having these vision kind of things in my dreams, and I kept visiting a spaceship.
Weird.
That is also where my clairvoyance is. I feel dreams are a portal for me. And I think when we pass, like, it's kind of, have you seen Men in Black?
So it's very weird that you say something about like dreaming and when you pass, because I feel like every time someone that I know or someone that like I have met, I always see them in my dreams when they have passed. And I don't know why it feels like some sort of like peace afterwards, because I genuinely do feel like it is that person visiting me and telling me like, I'm okay, everything's okay. And it's weird when someone passes and I don't get visited. That's one thing that I have found that I can say that I can correlate with the afterlife.
It's kind of like when someone passes away and you never see anyone that looks like that person, but then all of a sudden at the store,
randomly
you see someone, and it's like you lock eyes and you make, it's like it slows down, you make that eye contact.
Yep.
Like, that's fucked up. That doesn't just happen. I don't believe that just happens. But it makes you think when you look at space. They're saying we're this little thing and it just keeps going and going and going and going and going. That's nuts when you think about it.
Well, yeah.
Like, it makes you want, like, it almost makes you freak out just thinking about it.
We're just in one galaxy and there are plenty of them that exist in this quote space.
I think I hit a time where I was experimenting with mushrooms and like acid once or twice or a couple times. But I never really ever took a lot, just like a little bit, because I don't. And I think that's the difference of when you do things is if you want to have a cocktail every once in a while, like fine.
For sure.
I went to a concert a couple weeks ago, which was the best concert ever. Concert of the summer so far was Offspring. They are amazing. Shout out. I got really ripped at that one. But I didn't drink. I drank at Fall Out Boy. I had a great time. But you don't always have to drink at everything to enjoy yourself. I probably headbanged more at Offspring sober.
But do you feel that way about weed? Like, do you feel like you don't always have to smoke? Because me personally, I'm gonna smoke.
For the most part, I smoke. However, I know when to turn it off. So my sinuses have been fucked up, and for whatever reason, like whenever they linger for like 2 weeks, that I feel like this, and I usually have to go on whatever. So what was the question?
I don't even know at this point.
No, come on, because I had it. God, I feel like Scott's listening and he knows the answers.
Scott.
So fuck. Well, that sucks.
Well, yeah, it does.
So.
Oh, I know what the question was. It was, do you feel that same way about weed? Like, do you smoke?
Yes, thank you. God, good. A few days ago, I didn't smoke for almost 2 days. but I do smoke every day. Weed is sometimes I feel I smoke too much, but if I think I'm smoking too much or I need to like take a time out, I'll take a time out. But that's my replacement, Xanax or Lexapro. I can still feel, I still have feelings, I still have emotions.
Absolutely.
I still have to feel pain when I smoke weed, but I'm not masking it the way that drugs do. So it's definitely changed my life, just smoking weed and not taking pills. If I go on an airplane, I need something heavy, because I have a lot of dreams where I feel like the plane's going to crash. And that is a nightmare it happens in patterns, and I need to start writing my dreams down, because I believe I travel through portals through my grandma's house in my dreams. I have a weird connection with this house. This house is haunted. It's got a history I've been trying to like look up.
It's definitely weird. Like, it's on a corner and it faces away from like anything that like you would think, like the street. It's facing towards the middle of the woods. There's nothing there.
Even the way that the sun shines on the trees and everything, like it's fucking weird. You could tell there's a history in that land, and Native Americans were heavy in that area. At one point, they would find arrowheads. He had an arrowhead collection. I used to bring it in for show and tell all the time in school.
That's cute.
But he would find them when he was doing his gardens.
Is this the same one with the Playboy collection?
No, different grandpa.
Oh, okay.
Different grandpa. Grandpa Bob is my grandpa who has his Playboy collection, and I hinted that I wanted the Playboy collection because I think it would be cool with the retro shade vibe to have all the retro, like if he has, and I would be interested in 60s to 90s. I mean, early 2000s too, but I doubt he has early 2000s. But to have those like all over the walls. So he told me, I don't remember the words exactly, that it was too erotic for me. Playboys. So he suggested Sports Illustrated, and then he was looking up what Sports Illustrated covers would be nice at Shade. So that was fun. I admired that. But I want the Playboys.
Yeah, I would want the Playboys.
I would want the Playboys.
For sure.
Well, I've had a lot of fun smoking with you today.
I have to agree. And if you don't have those blunts, you should get them. They're great.
Only blunts. These are really, really good. The stickers are cool too. He had a lot of cool pieces. Smarty Pants is right next door, so you can go get some clothes. And then the Lightways Lightways, like stones and stuff like that, tarot cards. That store is awesome. And then you have the Lift Bridge bookstore across the street. Everyone should go to Brockport on like a Saturday morning. But Smarty Pants, if you live in Rochester, take the trip to Brockport. Best clothes. You should never buy jeans anywhere else besides Smarty Pants. Everything I wear is from Smarty Pants. I need to start posting my outfits because they're solid gold.
Solid gold.
But you're going to see a lot of Emonie because she helps me at work, at her full-time job. She helps me at Shade. She's a photographer. And we'll have to talk more about that. Maybe we'll do some tiki-takis to kind of tail off of this, to learn more about your photography. We do our little boudoir shoots we need to really do for fall at Shade. But you'll see a lot of her in my future business adventures. Peace out, bitches. Oh my God!
Oh my God, what?
Bob Barker died!
Oh my God, Bob Barker died!
Bob Barker died! How could I forget that fucking Bob Barker died? Oh my God. Well, apparently I'm just gonna rip off ABC and start posting when people that I think are significant die. So rest in peace, Pineapple, and rest in peace, Bob Barker.